Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast here at MODEX 2022. I am in the booth, and I am joined by Joe Nentwig, right? And he's going to talk to us about Kindred. We've had Kindred on the show before, so we've gotten into the product a little bit. But we're going to talk a little bit about how the reception has been here at MODEX to Kindred, and also about the new announcement, which has to do with induction. So we're going to get more into that and get some details on that. So, Joe, welcome to the booth. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Great. Kevin, thanks for having us on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to have you on. Happy to have you come here in the booth in person, obviously. So we're on the last day of MODEX here. So how has it been for you guys?
The show has been better than expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, coming in, I was a bit concerned, with the COVID background and people coming out and showing up, but the attendance has exceeded expectations. We came in with a view on, really leads, opportunities,
right.
And we've surpassed every expectation.
That's great.
As the last day of the show, it's like it does always, slowed down considerably, but for Monday and Tuesday were excellent.
Yeah.
So it's worked out well.
All right, great. And so you're with Kindred. So give us a little background on Kindred and just a brief overview for people that are listening that might not be familiar.
That's great. Kindred's been around since 2014. 2017 started deploying robots. Think of it along the lines of a robotic put wall.
Right.
So we put the sort, as we like to refer to as an orb, into our different customers' different applications, facilities, and it replaces what has historically been the manual put wall. So you could take an individual who understands and has worked manual put walls and have them take control of 3, if not 4, Kindred sorts. So you're quadrupling your throughput from the same individual that was limited, on top of which they get a lot of excitement that they're working around advanced technology, robotics, and feels like they've become a supervisor now, often naming the robots.
Really? Yeah.
But we've focused predominantly on the apparel space, but we're extending the item set to continue to grow in the development, the advancements of the solution. We've got currently over 300 of these robots in place, and I'm super happy to announce, because we just surpassed yesterday 400 million transactions.
Wow.
So what we can do in a day is just slightly under 1 million placements across our fleet of robots.
Wow, that's pretty great. And I mean, I know you guys have been focused on apparel primarily, but it's great to hear that you're expanding. I think you have a big partnership with Gap, right? Is that correct?
We do.
Yeah.
Gap was the foundational customer.
Right.
Put 2 robots in back in 2017. We're now across 8 different buildings with over today deployed over 200. They've also ordered about 140 more that'll be deployed over the coming 18 months.
Wow. So obviously it's working for Gap. We could say it's working.
It's working. That's why I'm super proud when I can talk about 400 million transactions.
Yeah.
These robots work and have given the production and the expectations that the customers desire.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously, the robotic put wall, I mean, it's a very interesting concept, and the sortation process, I think, of the robot itself in that put wall is pretty remarkable, what it's able to do and how it's able to recognize things, and really, really smart in that way. So, how has the robot itself and the technology that you're putting out there, how has it kind of evolved in the last 2 years through the pandemic? And have you made any changes based on customer demand, or how has it been kind of evolving in that sense?
Right, like I mentioned, the item set continues to improve and increase.
Right.
The limitation's always going to be the size of that cubby that we're placing into. We had limitations on how many orders we could process within the cubbies, purely limited to the cubby size, which we've overcome that by being able to handle significantly more order sizes, which is a big change. Also, the speed of the robot has increased its performance considerably as well. We're typically the robot itself, of course, we need product feeding it and we need the cubbies emptied, but the robot itself is operating now pushing 500 units an hour. So again, the customers are seeing significant benefits over a manual operation, and that robot operates at that same speed for 24 hours. You can run it three shifts. Yeah, it really doesn't need those breaks and go to lunch and take a nap. It just goes.
I definitely need a nap.
It's been a long show. I need a nap. Right.
Yeah. So, but a robot, no, definitely not. So, so very good to hear. And obviously, the improvements, continuing improvement is so important. Obviously, in our space, and it sounds like you guys are continuing to do that. And you had an announcement here about induction. So, why don't you give us some details on that and tell us a little bit about why that's important?
So we took the core of our sort put wall robot, the AI, the machine learning, the grasping, and looked in other places how we could leverage that advanced technology outside of the steel frame and sheet metal into new applications. Most commonly in our deployments, the sort is provided with its products off of a high-speed unit sorter. If you look beyond that, an individual has to stand there and load those trays from that sorter very manually. It's a pretty boring job, and you do that. And we looked how we could leverage the technology we had and advance into that position. So we do call it induct. It's a dual arm system that's placing to the individual tray of the unit sorter with robotics. Same nature, you can run it 24 hours a day and get ahead of your processes. So that we've announced at the show. We've been working on it for over 2 years. We deployed it as a pilot into small parcel initially. So in that case, we have no limitations on product outside of up to 8 pounds, boxes, envelopes, poly bags, some of those limitations we have a sort, but none when it comes to any restrictions when it comes to induction. Super exciting to announce the show. It really advancing what a fulfillment center can operate within.
Obviously, and I think the fact that you're continuing to focus on all the different aspects of the fulfillment center and trying to automate those. We see so much expansion here at MODEX, especially this year. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, the amount of automation and robotics and the things that are being addressed and different challenges and things of that nature. So specifically to your booth, I'm curious, as people are coming by and they're checking out Kindred and they're seeing what you guys have to offer, what types of challenges are they saying that they're facing, or what types of questions are they asking?
Right. Well, seeing is believing for us. Certainly around our sort product as well as induction. But on sort, people have seen many videos, and it's interesting. They come by and they think the orb should be twice as big as it actually is. So it's kind of like we feel like we need to be on site and we need to be in deep discussions. There's also a lot of assumptions on your limitations on your number of cubbies versus the number of orders you can process, but you can empty a cubby at a certain speed versus the operation of the robot. So you can push through a lot more inventory than people traditionally had the perception of on Kindred. So we are learning that I won't say, I think people might argue with me that we're not seeing a reduction in labor. We're seeing a growth in labor, but not at the growth speed of the market requiring labor. So a facility that may have operated in the past with 600, a new building moved in next door and also needs 600, and there's not 1,200 available, but there is 1,000 available. So they're looking for ways to automate existing manual processes to enhance that worker. Like I referenced, a single individual that handled a single manual put wall can handle 3, if not 4, Kindred sorts. So you're advancing the use of the same existing labor within the operation. So we're hearing that a lot. We're hearing that it's difficult to get more labor. And how do we leverage what we have in place to be able to push more inventory through our building. That's probably the most common. But I'm also learning very quickly that a lot of the organizations are the executive leadership is mandating somewhat of a reduction in labor for the same reasons with automation. And so a lot of people walking around looking and seeing the different capabilities. It's nice when they've evaluated before they got here and they're picking a Kindred solution to come and spend time with us on. That they may not have been the right customer because of item set in the past.
Interesting. So the item set is really kind of helping you guys expand the customer base. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So are you seeing it, I mean, in that aspect, you said that, some customers are coming here with the idea of, looking at the Kindred. So are you seeing that people are potentially more educated in the sense of exactly what they're looking for, as opposed to, just coming to browse and see what's here and then figure out, what they need?
I think the way I'd say it is they're coming with clear problems. They may not have the right solution in mind, but they're able to explain what their issue is and why. And I would say that's new. I would say pre-COVID, supply chain issues, people were here to browse. And they thought, if I see something cool, I'll reach out to the company later. I'm finding more people coming into our booth are coming in with a problem that hopefully we can solve, whether it's on the induction or the sortation side. But it's been a little different as far as the show this year that I found.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to see how kind of the evolution of the mindset, I guess, of our industry has changed a little bit. People are more interested, I think, even when we look back, I think MODEX 2020, before, everything went crazy, right? And things changed forever, right? People were still, in a sense, like browsing a little bit. I think we're seeing a little more of a educated attendee and focused attendee, but I think this year, as I'm hearing from you and I've heard from other people too, I mean, it seems like people are coming and, like you said, they know what they need, or they know like what problem they need to solve. It's very clear, and they're ready to kind of make decisions and be able to move forward with some type of automation or robotics plan, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, just one other thing I'd like to point out is the end of 2020, Kindred was acquired by Ocado, which is the largest global e-commerce grocery fulfillment company based out of the UK under their brand. They're building out micro-fulfillment centers under a lot of different brands globally now. And that advancement has advanced our end effectors. So they have a lot different requirements than a pure apparel when you're dealing from something from a box of Cheerios to an apple. And it's really been able to accelerate our roadmap and take us into those new directions and those new applications. And some of the people who are coming to the show are aware of Ocado, are aware that we've been acquired, not necessarily appreciating the benefits that we're gaining from it, but want to learn more because it fits into a segment that they're part of and not necessarily something that we've worked on in the past.
Very interesting. So it does give you some kind of, I guess, leverage or flexibility to grow there within a different segment. So it'd be interesting to see how you guys continue to do that. And obviously, as you're adding more item variation and flexibility in that sense, it'd be great to see you guys grow in that area too, and provide that same value that you're providing to apparel right now, and to expand upon that. So if people are interested in learning more about Kindred and your solutions, how can they do that?
So you got a couple options now that we're owned by Ocado. You can go directly to ocado.com, but we still operate under the kindred.ai website as well. And very good way to at least see some high-level approaches and sign up on the website. We'll be happy to send you more information, more videos, and more views into the solutions. It is a solution that's best seen, and we do a lot of site visits. Our existing customers across the country are extremely welcoming, and they've had so much success. They enjoy sometimes touring, and we had some very senior leadership of most of our customers here this week. Same thing. So we have very high confidence in taking people out to take a look at the system as well.
All right, great. We'll put all that information at thenewhouse.com as well. So, Joe, thank you so much for coming by the booth and jumping on the show.
Well, Kevin, thanks a lot. We do appreciate it.